All right, so I wanted to share this app that I discovered yesterday. It's pretty neat. It's a adventure, text-based adventure game aimed at mental health. So it's a mental health game is how they build themselves at, and it's called Betwixt. As I said here, it's an epic adventure of self-discovery. Become the hero of an interactive story that leads to clarity, courage, and self-insight. That caught my attention. It seemed an interesting way to approach personal growth, mental health, well-being, putting it in the story format. Because as I've talked about in the past, I mean, story is a huge component to who we are. The storytelling animal and all of that, and to put the sort of self-help well-being piece into a game format seemed interesting. And I love playing role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, and I like these sort of text-based adventure games. I like those from a fantasy sort of standpoint. So this seemed like it would be an interesting thing to explore. As you can see here, there's 4 stories to this. The first part of the story, the prologue, you get to engage with for free. Just here, yeah. So the Betwixt combines choose your own experience gameplay with powerful tools from psychology to make self-exploration epic. It's an immersive alternative to mindfulness and journaling as you travel through a dreamlike world, solve its secrets, and unravel the mysteries of your mind. So that was intriguing to me, and it's has the and I'll show you some of my, because I downloaded the app and I've played through the free version, the prologue, for the first story. I'll come back to this in a minute. Well, I'll come back to that in just a second. But here are some of the things that the kind of app is promising that, by going through and experiencing this mental health game, that it reduces anxiety and stress. The 2 ladies involved at the top, so the 2 co-CEOs, are both from the sort of therapy industry. So one was a cognitive hypnotherapist, the other studied mental health and is a science writer. And they have some more therapists on staff. A lot of their collaborators are research scientists and psychiatrists and the like. So that's pretty interesting that there's they build it as a science backed game. So I did download it, as I said, and I've played the prologue. And I'll just hit play here, and you can have a see at what some of the gameplay is like. You don't have to sign up to start. So if you just want to experience the game, I encourage you to just download it, because you just hit Start Adventure, and then you can just play through. It's worth noting here that they're saying that it's not a form of therapy, and it's not a replacement for medical treatment. And there's no humans that will monitor the conversation, so you can be, because there is, as you're going along, there is some choose your own adventure options. But one of the options in some of the cases, you get to input your own words. If you don't like the options that the adventure throws up, you can input in your own words answer to some of the questions. It also says here, if you suffer from severe mood, personality, or dissociative disorder, that you should consult a doctor or therapist before you begin. So just a little content warning that they have in the beginning. So we want you to go through that. And I thought what was interesting for me on this was that it includes sounds. There's no video, at least not in what I've seen so far. I mean, it is a text-based bit, so there is visuals, but not videos. But they did do the sound. So, like in this first bit, whoa. So in the first bit, you are in a snowstorm of some description, and so that's kind of playing, and it's kind of hazy. So I guess it is kind of video. There is moving there, isn't it? So there's probably some mixture of that kind of level of video to it, but it is very heavy text based. But I found, listening to, if you're playing it with headphones on, then you kind of feel immersed in it. So I think sound is a benefit to it, a plus to it, that gives it that extra bit of immersion here. So as you can see, kind of sets up the scenario for you. You can decide how fast the text kind of comes up. And I think this first part in this prologue is kind of setting up how you're going to progress through the game. So it reminded me of doing this sort of personality test type questions where your choices actually say something about you in terms of what you choose or choose not to choose in that instance. The one thing I was hoping to see at the end of play was that some kind of analysis of the choices that I made, but I didn't see that, and I don't know if that's further down, because how do you get to these figures down here in terms of reducing anxiety and stress without some measure? So I'm making a bold assumption that somewhere in here there's some kind of, even if it's just a self-assessment of where you begin the app to where you end the various different stories. So I think I made some choices, and I guess from my choices, that's now going to present a version of of this story based off of how I answered those questions. So it's just kind of telling you here that you can speed up the game if you're a fast reader or whatever, and then to wear headphones. But you can, as I'm speaking, you can follow along on the words there. So it's just kind of setting up the first bit of the story. And I found it very immersive. So if you are a fan of these text-based adventures, you'll really like this, because it's very immersive from that point of view, and you get to make some decisions, but you get to type some decisions in. I think a couple of them I typed my own words in, because some of the words that they came back with didn't resonate with me necessarily. So, but as I said, it doesn't. I didn't get a sense of what my choices meant. I know I made the choices and you get presented with something, but I don't know what the choices actually mean, and maybe that's coming a little bit later on. And you get these little power-ups, so I unlocked the grit one. I think I got another one as well. And again, I'm assuming later on in the game that those tools I'll be able to use again. And this one I was kind of, and I'd also got a sense that because you have the headphones on, and if you do any sort of self-hypnosis, guided hypnosis, or guided meditation, there felt like there was a sense of trance induction going on, because you had the blizzard happening, and then it was saying, dig, and you're going deeper, dig deeper, and it had that kind of flow to it, and so I think there was a little bit of that sort of relaxation at play from a trance inducing kind of language there. just forward a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, anyway, I mean, if you're into this kind of play, if you like these kind of games, I think it's well worth giving it a, to check it out. As I said, it, there is meant to be very backed by science, as they claim. So, bringing psychology and sound and story together to create this experience for folks. In terms of the pricing, it's kind of set up on the, like I said, you got the free version, and then it has a very much a sort of patron style membership flow to it. So there's also, this is what these are. So you got some different options. I didn't look to see what you get for each of the levels of membership. I just opted for the pay once, which was I think it was it probably was the 19, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. But it was just a one-off. So then you get the 4 stories included in that piece. So there's stories 1 through 4 comes in that one-off price that you have. And I think the other ones were just membership levels, and with the idea that there'll be other things unlocked and more stories to come. But as I said, there is the free to download it and to play. You don't even need to set up an account to start with this. But once you get through the prologue and you decide you want to carry on with the story, that you can then set up your account. But worth giving it a try and getting the experience just to see what it's like. If you like those types of games, I would say give it a shot. I will play through some more, and because again, I'm curious to see how the measure works. So am I going to get some kind of feedback in terms of what do my choices mean, and what kind of feedback I can get based off of the choices that I made. So hopefully that's to come. If I discover that is indeed true, I shall give you an update to that effect. But until then, download it. Let me know how you get on. If you do download it and you sort of play through, let me know how you get on with it as well. All right, take it easy.